I made a video recently and put it up on my Instagram, YouTube, all my social medias, like I always do. And I put it up knowing it's going to get a bit of backlash. And of course it does, because it's so polarizing. And the title of it is contrary to standard advice. And this is something I've said for a while, but I don't think most people should focus on investing. Whenever I say that, people are like, what do you mean don't focus on investing? That everyone should do the opposite. Don't listen to this guy, focus on investing. And I'm going to tell you exactly why you should not focus on investing right now. First of all, most people don't make enough money, in my opinion, to start to think about investing. When I think about investing, it's taking what you already have and multiplying it so that in the future, you don't lose what you've already earned. Does that make sense? The issue with that is most people haven't earned anything worth saving or multiplying. I'm not going to get too deep into when you start factoring in like inflation and how long it takes compound interest to actually start building up something worth talking about, something noteworthy. But I'm going to tell a personal story. When I first moved to Virginia, I had like no money at all. I was making literally like in college, I was making like under 20K. When I first moved here, I think I looked at the IRS website recently, and it has your tax returns, all of them. And I think that year when I first moved here, I made like $13,000. In the wealthiest county in the entire country, I made like $13,000. And I took all the advice that every YouTuber, every finance guru, every money-making book will teach you. And they all say the same thing because they all steal from each other. No one actually tries things out to see if it works and try to understand the nuances. They all say, put your money in a Roth IRA, put your money in a 401k, compound interest, be like Warren Buffett, save your money. And it's garbage advice because when I was making under $20,000, every $10 or $20 or $50 I managed to put away to try to take their advice, to try to participate in the practices that they were teaching. It didn't work because over time what you'll find out is that if you're not making enough money, everything goes wrong. Your car is going to break. You're going to have an accident. You're going to get hurt. You're going to have some kind of expense. Things go up in price. You might have insurance, and your insurance 1 week is X amount, then it goes up to Y amount. So now you have to pay more. You might have to get a new car because your car broke down. So now you have to buy parts. Your rent might go up because rents do go up a lot. There's a lot of different reasons why just sitting there and trying to save money and putting money into an account is not the best strategy. It does not work in the long run, and it crushes people. And the reason why it crushes people is because most people can't do math. Eventually what's going to happen is you're going to put money into this account, and you're going to get into a disaster where you're going to need the money like I did, and you're going to have to withdraw the money, which defeats the purpose of investing and saving when you cannot actually save for the long run. You cannot compound and invest if the investment doesn't get to compound. Do you understand this? So that's why I say for most people, stop sitting there trying to invest and save. What you should be doing is you should be trying to earn more. You should be trying to find a way to get more money in your pocket. That could be a side hustle. That could be getting promotions at your job. That could be investing into things that actually provide cash flow quickly, like starting a business where you create revenue and profit relatively quickly, not after like 20 years or 10 years like a lot of startups do now, or like tech companies, like quickly, now, immediately. You need money today because you need to fight inflation. You need to fight other companies increasing their prices. You need to fight different lobbying efforts from the government that makes other companies increase their prices or lay off people. There's all kinds of stuff you need to be fighting when it comes to making money. So when I sit there and I tell people, stop trying to focus on making money or investing money and saving. Your goal should be to earn more money quickly. They look at me like I'm crazy and they say, don't listen to that advice. I was like, okay, well, look at it this way. Let's say you do manage to keep all your money. Let's say you do put it into a savings account or 401k or Roth IRA. And let's say you do manage to put in enough where you're not living a life of abundance, but you're living comfortably. What does that really get you? What? After 40, 50, 60 years, you're going to be old, broken, unable to walk, unable to really enjoy life the way you once did when you were in your 20s and 30s and maybe 40s. And now what? You're a millionaire? Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad that you waited until you're 80 years old to be a millionaire finally. Hope you get to have that vacation. Hope you get to have that martini on the beach. Hope it tastes wonderful. Oh, wait, it won't taste wonderful because your liver can no longer process it because you're old. Doesn't make any sense to me. Now, had you taken my advice and had you tried to get money quickly when you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s, maybe you'd actually be able to enjoy that martini on the beach, and maybe you'd actually be able to have that fun lifestyle that you wanted to have back when you were in your 20s and 30s and 40s. Does that make sense? Now, the second thing. This is the second piece of advice that I want to give people. And I've said this before, and this is something I learned the hard way. And I think most people don't truly understand because most people don't question anything. You need to be very careful about the advice you take. As you're watching this video, be careful about the advice I give you. Because like I said earlier, I said don't invest, make more money. But perhaps you're already in a position where you make 150K or 130K. Well, then my advice doesn't apply to you because you have plenty of money to fight the things I mentioned, like inflation. Maybe you don't even work at a job, so maybe you don't have to worry about your job not increasing your pay relative to inflation going up. Maybe all of those things I said that you should be careful about don't apply to you, in which case don't take this advice. Take someone else's advice. A lot of influencers out there, they give advice, but and I'm not blaming the influencer, I blame the people taking the advice because a lot of people just don't think. Like, you should listen to the advice, understand that it might be good advice, and also understand that the advice might not be good for you. Grant Cardone usually tells people, don't focus on single family homes, don't focus on small properties, focus on large cash flowing deals, commercial properties with 50 units, 75 units, 100 plus units. To be honest, I think that's fantastic advice. I think most people, I think most people would like to be in a position where they can buy a large commercial property and let it cash flow thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. But the reality is that most people can't afford to do that. And for most people, constructing a deal that allows them to do that without destroying themselves financially is far too difficult. So, like I said, his advice is good. It's good advice, but it might not be good for you. Now, maybe you're a CEO of a company. Maybe you make a lot of money. Maybe you're an entrepreneur that's been doing fantastic for themselves. Then take his advice. Maybe you understand a thing or two about real estate. Take his advice. Go for it. Try it. But understand that all advice is not built equally, and the person giving the advice might have different experiences that worked for them. But it might not work for you because you have different experiences and you have different skill sets and you have different weaknesses that they might not have. Does that make sense to you at all? So I write this I'm making this video because constantly I'll put out a video or give my 2 cents. And I try to give background to where I got that 2 cents from or where I got my lesson from. I have a whole book. I have 2 books, actually. One of them is 27 by 27. Go pick it up. It's more philosophical. The other one is how I fucked up, and it's more specific things that I think everyone in general can understand and kind of deal with. The other book, the longer book, 27 by 27, is more abstract, if that makes sense. It's more just like general philosophy. Check both of those out. But I don't know. I want to leave the point with, don't tell people not to follow advice. Be open-minded about the advice you take. Take everyone's advice. Everyone's advice. Like, listen. I shouldn't say take. I should say listen to everyone's advice. If you meet someone, when I worked at a gas station, I listened to everybody. People walked in, they were saying you should go to college. Some people were saying you should do this. Some people were saying you shouldn't do this. The thing about advice too that people don't get is if you listen to everyone's advice, you'll eventually start to understand that a lot of advice is contradictory. Grant Cardone might say buy commercial property, never buy single family. Meanwhile, Chris Crone or Graham Stephan or I don't know if you watch like Fresh and Fit, Myron Gaines or someone else, they might say buy single family, don't worry about commercial. Some people might say don't even worry about real estate, go do something else entirely. Maybe someone like Alex Ramosi might say don't even try to do real estate, focus on building a business that cash flows significantly. That's fine. Some other guy might say don't even worry about building a brick and mortar business, focus solely on digital businesses because digital is the future. That's fine. Someone else might say don't worry about businesses, they don't cash flow as well as you think they would. Focus on crypto because crypto has a lot of leverage. Crypto might be a lot simpler. You can do it from the comfort of your home. That's fine. They might all do different things and those things might work for them. You need to sit there, use your brain, use that big brain of yours. Hopefully it's a big brain. Take the information in, sit there and say, based on what I know about these people, based on what I understand about this lesson that they're trying to teach me, based on who is giving the lesson, how well will this apply to me and how well can I implement this into my life? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And then the second part of that is listen to everyone's advice, but don't implement everyone's advice. Take what works for you and leave out the rest. Hopefully this whole video makes sense. Hopefully this is clear. Hopefully you understand this. Leave a comment if you don't. And if you did understand this, and if you did like the content, like the video down below. Helps the algorithm, helps me put out more content, helps my content get seen by more people. But yeah, on that note, peace out.